Welcome back, everybody. We're the Alter Ego Brothers. I'm Nick. That's Andy. And today we're going to be talking about the highly anticipated Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. How big of a Five Nights at Freddy's fan would you say you are?
Probably like a 2 out of 10.
Right. Yeah.
I don't really enjoy that play style, but I respect it.
Let's get into our ratings. This movie has a great concept, but has a horrible execution, much like the rest of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, meaning it's pretty on par. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I'm rocking a 7 out of 10 over here. I was debating about bringing it down to a 6, but I kind of actually like the music in this because it's really true to the video games, and because of that, I had to respect it.
Great. I'm honestly a little surprised because you didn't watch the first one, did you?
No, I didn't.
And put our scores together, and that gives us a 6.5 out of 10, which puts us in the 6th tier on our list. Yeah, I think a lot of people who aren't Five Nights at Freddy's fans or who don't know much about it are gonna have a rough go with this one. I think it's very much catered towards the fans, although I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Okay, moving on to the main topic I want to talk about, which is the story and the writing. This was written by the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, Scott Cawthon, and I think it's about the same caliber as you would expect from any of the games that are completely written by Scott Cawthon. It's kind of a jumbly mess. It kind of makes a lot of sense in some areas, and then throws in some weird, wacky stuff that's completely different and unknown that kind of throws the whole lore out the window. But that's to be expected at this point. I mean, this is going on for over 10 years, so what'd you think about the whole story?
So the story is definitely oriented towards the children and the audience. It's not for adults like you and I. But I think there are some aspects of the story that we can enjoy as adults, because if you are familiar with the games, they do some respect to that. There's a moment where they're sitting in the office and it's almost as if he's playing the game in real life and having to put on the mask and stuff. Like, I understand the reference and they did a really good job of that. I like those moments of it. Apart from that, because it's gravitated towards children, it kind of reminds me of, like, for whatever reason, I think of the Scooby-Doo movie, where it's just like, it lacks a lot of depth to it. And because of that too, it also has a lot of plot holes in it, but it works as a children's movie. Like, for example, these are really, really slow moving robots, and they're running from them like they're the most terrible things in the world. Like, they'd be really easy to shut down, but you know, I'll give them a hall pass on things like that. So,
you know, you bring up an interesting point. I do think that this is kind of similar to Scooby-Doo, at least the early 2000s live action movies.
Yes.
Where it's kind of an entry level horror for kids, right? It kind of builds up that respect for the genre and wanting to go see those movies and getting used to the concepts. And I thought it did a pretty good job. There were a couple of jump scares that got me, and it made me mad because it was things that, like, it was those fake out jump scares where it's just music and like nothing scary actually happens. I just wasn't expecting it. But I did go with my kids, and they both had a fantastic time. They got all the references. They loved all the memes that were thrown in there. And that's where this movie really shines. Having a lot of that interaction from the Five Nights at Freddy's community, which is already like insanely strong. The community itself will go out in droves to see this, even though it alienates everybody else who's not a part of it. And I think that's okay too. It's for them. It's not the best movie in the world, but it's fine. It's okay. Don't be dogging on other people's stuff. I've seen a lot of comments on the internet that are really yucking people's yums about this movie, and they're yucking people's yums. You ever heard that?
No,
don't yuck
never.
my yum. Just talking about, you know, putting out negative context there when somebody else really enjoys things, like trying to bring them down because you didn't have the same sort of feeling. It wasn't for you at that point. I'm sorry, but you don't have to drag other people down who do enjoy it. And what's surprising, this movie was made on a $36 million budget. Can you guess how much it's brought in this opening weekend?
I'm just going to, opening weekend, I'm going to throw out 60.
It made $109 million. It's fine. We're definitely getting a third one. Before moving on, I do want to get your thoughts on the end real quick.
It didn't take me by surprise by any means, because I guess I don't know enough for it to have taken me by surprise. I do feel like about the last 20 minutes felt really rushed. I thought the pacing was pretty good overall. In the beginning, for most of that movie, I was really thinking like, man, I kind of wish this would be a longer movie, because like I'm enjoying this and I kind of want more of it. Then it got to the last 20 minutes and I'm like, I want no more of this, because it was so rushed and so convoluted and they just did not make any sense at all. That's where the plot holes really happened. It was blending in what they were already telling in their story and then trying to merge it with what they want to go into the third movie. It's like it was a weird mix that they're trying to do, and it was conflicting with itself. Really fell apart in the last 20 minutes.
They really didn't have any sort of like resolution period. You get up to that main critical point, and then probably 2 minutes later, the movie's over. So it doesn't really give you that grace period of letting down and, seeing everybody kind of move on from the experience. Tensions are still pretty high, which, yes, they kind of lead to a third movie that everybody, I assume, knows is coming at this point. It's slated to start filming as early as next month. So, and then before we move on to the internet's thoughts, I wanted to shout out the costume and puppet department, special effects. Wow. This is like cream of the crop. The animatronics were pristine.
They were
exactly right.
The special effects was my absolute favorite part of this whole movie. That's what really sold it for me. There clearly is a lot of love for the original art and the game that was put into this movie in a lot of different aspects, not even just the special effects, as I mentioned earlier, the music too. And so whatever's going on behind the scenes, they got a good thing going. I would just my one criticism is just there needs to be somebody to help Scott when he writes this movie, just have a little bit better of a story arc to it. And then all of a sudden you really got an amazing movie that people want to watch over and over again.
But don't just take our word for it. Let's see what the internet has to say. As far as the audience scores go, Rotten Tomatoes has this movie at an astounding 88%, which we are going to round to a 9. IMDb has this at a 5.7, which we are going to round to a 6.
What a gap.
The total audience score is going to be a 7.5 out of 10. Now, on to the critics.
If I had to guess, I'm going to guess the critics were a little bit below where we were.
That would be a guess, but you would be wrong. So, critics, Rotten Tomatoes has a critic score of 12%. And Metacritic has it at 26 out of 100. Critics did not like this film. Period.
So they are below us, but they're not a little bit below us. They're well
below us. Okay. They're down at the bottom of the barrel.
That's on par with what I was kind of feeling.
That puts them at a solid 2 out of 10.
I mean, critics, they really want a congruent storyline, and when you don't deliver that, your score is just going down to a 2.
I see it. I don't agree with it. So that means we're definitely on the audience end of things. So let's read pretty nasty reviews from the critics here. So I've got 3 rapid fire here because at the very bottom of the Metacritic score, there are 3 absolute 0 scores.
Jeez, I hate people, man.
Coming from
there's
the
0 things you liked about it. That's
0 things. Here's what the AV Club has to say. Its entire third act is just expectation for a third movie that hopefully never comes. It is a bare minimum branding experiment, a dumb thing designed to be recognized with the hope that enjoyment will simply follow. Clearly they didn't like it. They felt trapped in their seat and should have done what our good friend Jeff does and just leave.
So, I mean, they said exactly the same point I made. It felt like they were just trying to merge the third movie into it, and then they ran into trouble because of it. So, but here's what I want to get at. It sounds like you had 2/3 of the movie that you didn't hate that much then, right? So then, therefore, it's not a 0. That's all I'm going to say.
The Associated Press says, it's an incoherent mess. Something that, back in the day, would be a straight-to-DVD. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has an after-school special vibe with no real horror and no real awareness that it should. I think no real horror is a bit of a stretch. There is implication of children dying. We do see a child die in this movie. We get to see Newman die. Good old Wayne Knight. There's possession.
Okay, from a PG-13 perspective, I guess I suppose I can understand that you want a little bit more horror in there. But I do think, too, that when it comes to the horror aspect of it, it's like you gotta be critical from the perspective of who is this movie for. Like, I think the perspective there is being discounted.
And finally, the Travers Take says, an inexcusable horror sequel that lowers the bar to 0 in terms of fun and fright. The only thing that scares me is this turd's inevitable box office success.
We're in an age where movies are dying left and right, and where Warner Brothers just got bought by Netflix. Warner Brothers that has the Harry Potter franchise had to be sold. and you are sad that a movie performed well. I'm disappointed in that.
That's definitely not the take to have for this. I think a lot of people are just wanting to be negative. And like I said earlier, they're just trying to yuck people's yums and drag people down and be like, you shouldn't like this because I don't like it.
Freaking yuck yumming. Your score of 0, reflective of the very successful box office, is evidence that you need to do some self-reflection on how you criticize movies going forward. That's a you problem then.
And that'll be it for us. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we have just been two regular dudes
doing regular reviews. Most people didn't see Markiplier in the movie. We'll let you know where he is.
Well, stay tuned.
Wait, he's in the movie? I have to listen to the whole video now.